Hello, my gorgeous people there. Oh, I've got Indies joining me. It's Beks Thompson here, integrated personal health. Integrated what? Integrated health and personal development specialist. And here live on a Thursday afternoon. It's gone a bit grey. And we're going to talk about, are you doing it all back to front? And what do I mean by that? So we'll just hang out here. Who's on screens this afternoon? Who's on live? I'm getting licked here with Indy. We're going to talk about, are you doing it back to front, and what that means? Because when we are doing things back to front, it often means that we wait for a result and then we deal with something rather than preempting something. Hey, Miss Katarina Gianacchi, how you doing, darling? And let us know if you're watching and where you're watching from. So we're talking about how to do things the right way round, or a way that perhaps makes life a little easier. Right, so see if you agree with me, Katerina. Do we wait, or do you wait until something becomes so pressing that you have to deal with it, rather than preempting something and dealing with it before it becomes a big issue? Now, I know as human beings, we're just not great at this, right? Life gets busy and we turn into being a reactive person instead of someone who's really listening and responding to ourselves and waiting for that first sign or the first bit of information or download before we respond. Hey, Kelly, beautiful lady, how are you? Let us know if you truly do. Yeah, Katerina, we do. And it's a common thing. And it's something that I talk about in my half-day events. It's something I talk about with my clients all the time. Don't wait until something is a huge problem to do something about it. You know, we wait for the cancer, we wait for the Parkinson's, we wait to be so overweight perhaps that we have really serious joint issues. You know, we wait for something to be huge before we start looking at ourselves and start cleaning up, right? Now, it's my firm belief that as we grow older, we don't have to be an accumulation of our past. We don't have to accumulate disease in our body and emotional baggage and limiting beliefs and start to sort of spiral down. We can get better and better and better if we look at this stuff as we go along. And one of the ways that we can look at our stuff is about cleaning up what we put into this body. Now, if you've worked with me or you know anything about me, you know that we look at, you know, physical health in terms of movement. I'm a yoga teacher and therapist, and we also look at, you know, emotions, mindset, all of that stuff. But one of the things that a lot of people go hugely wrong with, because there is so much information out there that we can go really wrong with, is, wait for it, food and cleanses. All right, so we're going to look at this book today. Now, I know you're probably seeing this back to front. It's called The Prime. I'm going to explain why this is so amazing, and then I'm halfway through a cleanse with this, and some of the key things that people can do wrong that are actually dangerous in a cleanse or looking at their diet. Because please be warned, you know, sometimes when you're doing some of these 7-day detoxes or 21 juice cleanse or whatever it is, it's not always the best thing that you could be doing for your body. Tomorrow's going, can my fur baby not look so cute? I know, it's like a little cat sitting on the back here. Hey? So one of the things that people do, let me know if you've ever done a cleanse. So Brooke, Leonie, hey lovelies, Tamara, have you ever done a cleanse? Yeah? And let us know what it was. Was it a juice cleanse? Was it a water cleanse? Was it an Ayurvedic Khichdi cleanse? Was it something you got off the internet? What was it and where did you get it? Because often these things go very quickly into your body. All right, if someone's not guiding you, or it's not a step-by-step system, you're throwing something in like paint stripper, for example, and something like that, into your body and looking for a very quick clear out. So you can get some really full-on detox symptoms, and you can get that anyway. But your body can go into sort of reactionary mode. And instead of you getting the longer lasting results that you might want, you may feel brilliant after that cleanse, but it may not really last. And is it doing you more harm than it is good in the long term? Yeah, because sometimes it's just either scraping off the top layer and not really getting to the root cause of what's going on and what's being held in a deeper layer in your body. Or it's actually causing your body so much stress, and you're doing it for a short, intense period of time, that your body's then in a lot of recovery mode afterwards. So let me tell you a little bit about this and why I think it's so awesome. You know, over the 25 years of being in the health and wellness industry, the last sort of 10 years really being deep in the yoga world and exploring a lot of Ayurveda myself, this is really, really, really supportive for your body. So I'm not getting any money from promoting this. I just think it's awesome. With myself coming from a Western medicine background and having, you know, a real spiritual and deep and personal development adjunct to this speaks to that. So the person that wrote this book, she is called Kulreet Chowdhury. She started off, she's Indian, grew up in India, and then moved to America to become a doctor. And she trained in Western medicine, became, I think, a neurosurgeon or a neurologist, integrative neurologist, and realized that she herself was getting sick living in the Western diet, living in the Western world. And with her clients, she was getting, you know, working as a neurologist with people like MS and Parkinson's, and she was really struggling with what options there were out there in the Western model. And she was feeling like, you know, being trained in the hospital and Western model system, was almost like she was getting kind of brainwashed into this way that everyone needs to be on medication and needs to be managed, and that there are no cures for these diseases, that she really thought there's other ways that we can deal with this. Tamara was saying she did a 7-day juice cleanse and hated it. It's put them off doing it since. Yeah, right? So let me know if you're watching this. We just asked, what cleanses have you done? How did it go? Did you get long-term benefits or just short-term benefits? And now you just cut out sugar, dairy, and gluten. Yeah, exactly. So we often know what these big three are. If they're not dealt with in a certain way, our body doesn't like them. Obviously, overdose of sugar, gluten, most people don't realize that do realize that it affects them. And dairy in different ways. Some people can tolerate it, dealt with a certain way. We're not going to go into specifics of that, but thanks, Tam. So, Kulreet, she started to go back to her Ayurvedic roots because her grandfather was an Ayurvedic practitioner and was a GP in India. So she went back to those roots and studied that again and started to apply her Ayurveda with her Western, you know, medicine background to her neurological clients like MS and Parkinson's and those types of things. So what did she find? She found that these clients started getting better. Now, if you are someone that's been a nurse or a doctor who's in the Western medicine at all, you'll realize that clinically or classically, doctors would say you don't really get better. You might get some remissions from some of these things, but it's not something you really get better from. And she started to get a lot of pressure from other doctors and other neurologists saying, you can't do this because we are going to go out of business. Now, I'm not into big conspiracy theories, but I do think, you know, and I do think a lot of doctors out there are trying to do their very best with the wisdom and knowledge that they have. But what I do think is that we have so much more wisdom and knowledge available to us, and some people can, and some practitioners and training organizations, if you like, can just be very narrow-minded because they don't kind of want a barrage of stuff in that's not perhaps overly tried and tested, if you know what I mean. So I get that. We want to be careful with what we let in, but integrative medicine is at the forefront now of health and wellness because it's embracing the newness. And it feels like really, you know, Western medicine and that model, as much as there are some amazing medicines out there, it's such a linear and closed box, so they're too scared of really embracing a lot of this other stuff. So, you know, Kulreet was in this situation of really merging Ayurveda and the neurology and the Western medicine, and is really, really ticking boxes for, you know, any kind of neurological condition. So what does that mean for you if you don't have MS and you have Parkinson's? Well, we were talking before, are we working backwards? Are we waiting until we get these things to clean up our act? Or are we going in before and actually starting to clean up our bodies as we go along? Because you may have a great diet, you may eat organic, you may think that you're doing everything great, but we just cannot escape the environmental toxins that we are exposed to. We can't often escape some of the emotional baggage that we accumulate, you know, in our path and on our day. You know, we can't escape some of the toxins and the things that are in our food, just even if we eat super well, right? And there are times, obviously, in everyone's diet and everyone's day that we don't eat how we might want to, you know. And as you said, Katrina, prevention's better than a cure, but we need to motivate ourselves to do that. And we need to do it in a way that's safe. It's not just like a really full-on 7-day wham bam, hit you with something super strong, and then your body's trying to like play catch up mode. Our bodies have become what they are over a long period of time. I'm 47. You know, I don't have anything major going on right now that triggered me to do this, but I do have a couple of little kind of fungally skin things that rise their head every now and again. And I know that my gut health is not as good as it could be despite my really good diet from my point of view. Why? Well, I know when I was growing up, I had a lot of antibiotics. I've traveled a lot overseas and I've had a few different sort of parasitic things and those kind of things going on. I know that I sometimes have more sugar than I have. I know I like to have, you know, coffee every day, just one coffee, my morning coffee. And I know some of those things have a little of an addictive tendency to them. I need them. And I know that just the daily stresses of day-to-day life and the things that we're exposed to, I don't necessarily feel the negative impact on that day to day, but I know there are times, you know, obviously we might get tireder. There are times when our digestion might not feel like it's 100%. There may be times when your skin breaks out. You know, there might just be different times when your bowel movements aren't 100%. So why wait? There are some kind of crazy startling statistics now that I think it's something like 30% of people are likely to get a cancer. Now that is a huge number. You know, we've got a few people on here now. That means one of us, yeah, one of you, at least one of you or two of you, we've got people jumping in and out this afternoon watching, are likely to get cancer. And, you know, we know that there's a lot of emotional aspects to that, sort of environmental aspects to that. So why is this prime so much better than other things? Well, you do a little test in here. Now, obviously, this is still out of a book. And if you did this with Cool Read, it might be even more specific to you. But having gone through this and checked it out, I think it's really, really safe. I think it's really accessible for a lot of people. And it's over a long period of time. It's really doable. So whereas a lot of different, say, diets and cleanses would get you to strip stuff out and completely change your diet, and that can be really hard for people to follow, this does the opposite. It brings things in, and then that starts to change you and how your brain is wired and your chemistry so that you don't want to crave the things that are, say, bad for you. So when you start, you take a little bit of a test in here, which shows you how much compromise your gut is under, how much of a compromise your body is under, and how much it's struggling. And that gives you a guide as to whether you're going to go on a slow path, on a medium path, or on a quick path. So I don't really have too much going on. I'm on a quick path. And that means that each stage, and there are 4 stages, will be for about 2 weeks. So I'm looking at about an 8 to 10 week program, and I might just go a little slower because obviously depending on what's going on for you in your life, you may not want to be going in a deep cleanse section, you know, at a time you're going away for the weekend, which is happening to me. I'm going, my husband and I are going on a weekend away, just the 2 of us next weekend. So I don't want to start the really deep organ cleanse that weekend because that's probably not going to be a whole heap of fun. So I'm going to actually extend mine out a week. So the first stage in this is kind of like a prepare and a gentle cleanse to start. You take some herb supplements, you start doing some dry lymphatic massage in your body. What else do? You start taking a herbal tea that you make up and you drink a litre of that through the day. I think they're the 3 key things. Let me just have another little look at what number 1 is. I have a feeling there's one other key thing that I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, taking some fiber. So you're taking some flaxseed and some psyllium husks. So this is all about starting to put a clearing out through the, the intestines, starting to get the intestines and the stomach working a little bit better, getting your lymphatic system working better, and starting to flush out a little bit just again through your digestive system. So this is a stage where you can feel a little bit yucky. And so you take a couple of weeks or as long as it takes for your body to kind of settle into that. But it's quite gentle because you're still eating whatever you kind of want to eat, but you will find that if there are things that your body doesn't like, you're going to know about it. It might be headaches or bloating or tummy aches, and so you're going to start to just not want those things because you're just not attracted to it. So like I said to you before, I would normally have a morning coffee, a morning black coffee. It's kind of my nice little thing, but I did recognize that it was kind of becoming a need. And so for me in this first few weeks, because you drink the tea first, I was finding that I just didn't need that coffee. I just didn't need it. It wasn't something that was coming up. The chemistry just wasn't there. And this is what she was saying, you know, when we try to fight something with our mind, we're not realizing that actually what's going on in our body is chemistry. It's like chemical and biological warfare. And that's really hard. So if you beat yourself up, if you're on a cleanse or on a diet, or you're trying to change habits, it's not always willpower that's the problem. It's chemistry. All right. So in the second phase of this, you start taking some other Ayurvedic herbs, which are helping you to deal with what is going on around any kind of addiction or any kind of hook that your body has around foods that aren't that great for you. So, you know, you might find, does anyone here find, hey Hayley, find that you really need something sweet in the middle of the afternoon, or perhaps you start craving bread, or you really want a coffee, yeah, those kind of things, because they're a habit, but they're also a chemistry. Your body is starting to go, I need that because I'm feeling this lack of that right now, and you used to give me that at this time, and now I want it, right? And it's going into stress. So the herbs you start taking in level 2, which is where I'm at now, are to stop that, is to minimize the effect of that stress. It's also to help the mind restore and the brain to restore, and the nervous system that's just been put on stress and just day-to-day stresses. So like Katerina, your sweets you're down for, right? Who else has got a sweet tooth, particularly in the afternoon? Right? I know that was probably my thing. I'd make a chai. It doesn't have to be something bad like a donut or whatever bad. But, you know, my downfall would be like maybe having a sweet chai or something like that in the afternoon. And then I would start to feel like I might really need it. So this second, let me just go to the second level. The second part is to crush the cravings, all right? And so you're still eating whatever it is that you feel drawn to, if you like. But like I'm saying, often you just won't feel drawn to those same things. So tomorrow, 1 coffee every morning is your go-to, yeah. And so do you feel like you have to have that coffee? You know, like we kid ourselves. I used to say to myself, I don't need that coffee, I just like that coffee. But when I'm really being honest, I'm like, I like that coffee because I love the taste and I need it. Like it was both. I could feel if I didn't have it, there was a pull in me, and that's that addiction. There's that pull that I want to have it. And now I actually haven't got that. I haven't got that in the morning. So with stage 2 then, we are taking these extra herbs to start to crush any sort of cravings that might be coming up in our body. And we are, oh that's right, we're doing some juice and broth. Now this is a little labor intensive, so at the minute you should see what I'm putting in my juice in the morning. I've got 1/4 of a head of red cabbage, I've got a cucumber, I've got a carrot, I've got a green apple, a handful of spinach, some ginger, a lemon. I think that's it. That's in the juice. So it makes about 2 big cups of juice. And that's, I just sort of read why she says that. It's just really about healing the gut. Hey, Nick. So it's an excellent response for sugar cravings because of the high nutrient content. So this level 2 is really about packing you with nutrients so that you can deal with a deeper cleanse after this. And this is what so many cleanses miss out. They attack you with a cleanse, a deep cleanse straight away, or just give you a superficial cleanse without actually giving your body the extra help it needs to really heal and really nourish and replenish itself on a deep, deep cellular level. So this is the kind of phase that we're now in level 2, is using this juice in the morning to really help with the sugar cravings and really pack you with nutrients. And the other thing we're doing is a bone broth in the evening. It's more about it's more about the sitting. So Tamara's telling us again, you sit in the sun and drink it. It's more about the setting than the coffee, I think. So try doing it without the coffee and see if it's about the coffee or if it's about the sitting in the sun. All right, that's the only way you're going to know. So the bone broth again is just really packing your body now with nutrient-rich food to start really healing the gut. And building up nourishing minerals and vitamins. We're trying to build up reserves because this next, we're still detoxifying now, and in the next level we're detoxifying even more, and your body needs more energy when that's happening. So this is the other thing that can happen when people do, say, a juice cleanse or a water cleanse. Your body needs energy to detox. And if you're not putting enough nutrient and energy in, you're really putting your body, again, under more stress. So short term, you might feel better because obviously you're clearing some crap out of your system, but long term you've put your body under more stress. So this is again why I love this program, because you are feeding and nourishing and supporting your body the whole time. So if you have a huge lot of cravings, this is the time when you can start journaling and noticing when and what those sort of cravings are, if it's a huge thing for you. But if it's something that you're just doing as a preventative, like me, it's more about that, then you're just sort of noticing, how things are going. Now, I haven't got to level 3 yet, because I'm going to hang out here for another couple of weeks, because like I say, we're going away for a long weekend, and I don't want to be going in like level 3 when I'm away for a long weekend with my husband. But so she describes it here that level 1 and 2 is about sweeping up and taking out the trash, nourishing the body and thwarting some of the cravings. And now it's time to go deeper. So she says in stage 3, they're going to start squeezing out the junk that's accumulated at a really deeper level. So we're really getting down and scrubbing and getting out the grime. And again, when you often just do a shorter cleanse, you're really just doing that first bit. You're just kind of sweeping up and taking out the trash. You're not dealing with all those habitual ways that your mind craves and your nervous system is stressed around food or your environment, and you're not going deeper into the tissues. So this is where we're now going a lot deeper and really ignite the digestive fire as well. So you start taking another couple of herbs. You start putting some spices with your food, which I'm already doing. So obviously, depending on what your diet normally is like, will be whether this is really different for you or not. So I'm already using these spices every day, sort of pretty much with every meal. You're also flushing your gut with ginger. So you're chewing on some specially prepared ginger that's been sort of in brine. And you'll keep doing all these other things. So you don't stop one part and then do another and then stop that and then do another. You keep going all the way through with all of these things. So you start stacking. You're doing quite a lot of things as you go along. So the big thing about this is the herb that you take, which is guggul. And guggul is a herb which is going to go deep into the tissues. This is the biggest part, and this is strongest herb. And so you can kind of like pace it as well and kind of step it up. So I didn't want to get into too much of the logistics of what was in here, but just to explain, if anyone is wanting to do a cleanse, now is a really great time to be doing it. Autumn, winter, are brilliant times for cleanse. Spring's good for cleanse. We're in a little bit of a sit back time, or when you're in a change of season is a good time to really allow ourselves to just stop and really do some deep clearing and cleaning. Now, we know, and I know that you know, that the gut is such an important part of our nervous system. This is as important as the brain. And this looks at both. It's looking at the gut and it's looking at the brain part of the nervous system, and how we can become more resilient to our environment, how we can clean up from the effects of the food and our environment, and how we deal with our, the mental around those cravings. Your mum's chicken soup, Katerina. Yes, exactly. She's got me boiling bones here on slow cooker for 24 to 48 hours. So yeah, those bone broths are amazing. This is a really awesome book. Don't get put off by the title. It's saying prepare and repair your body for spontaneous weight loss. Now, she found that all her clients from doing this obviously lost a lot of weight, and losing weight is a great money maker. So it's how she's marketed the book, but her primary work is around advanced, like I say, integrative neurology with clients with neurological conditions. But this is applicable for basically everybody. So if you know anyone that is in a neurological situation and is open to it, you can suggest this. But if you want to lose weight, fantastic. If you just want to clean up your act and be the best, most vital and most high functioning body that you can, then great, because we need to prime ourselves. If we're on a path of personal growth, if you're on a path of business growth, if you're on a path of spiritual growth, then you need a great container to be able to carry you through this world. Yeah, I need my body to be a great container so that I'm not distracted by disease or tiredness or lack of clarity in my mind. The energy that I want to shift on my spiritual path needs to have a strong container to be able to hold that. Yeah, and if I'm pushing my business forward and advancing all the time, which I am, then I need, again, my body and my mind and my spirit to be, totally on board and on form. So if you want any more information about that, I'll put the title up in the blurb, but it's called The Prime, Prepare and Repair Your Body for Spontaneous Weight Loss. Like I say, don't get distracted by the title unless you are wanting to lose weight. This is not necessarily about that. This is just about you being your best vibrant self. And for me, I think this is one of the best, the best cleanse that I've ever seen. So like I say, 8 weeks to as long as you want to take with it, really. So it might seem a little intense, but you know, if you want change, you've got to be consistent, and this is amazing. Cool Reap Chowdery, look out for it. You can get it free delivery on Book Depository and stuff like that. If you have any questions about it, whether it might be right for you, I'm happy to sort of ask. Yeah, hey Stacey, you are super late to the combo, darling. We've been going. We're just about to wind up, but I tell you, this is worth listening to. Go back to the beginning, just about to wind up, and you can listen to it from there. And anyone that's on my email list as well, every week when I do lives, we upload them to YouTube and we send them out through our email list. So if you ever want to make sure that you don't miss these bigger chunks of time where we do this, then send me a PM me with your email and we can add you to our database, and then you'll make sure that you get those YouTube links as well once we upload them each week. So Tamara, yes, give this a go. Give it a go. And if anyone's local to the area and wants to give it a go, go for it. You know, I'm doing it now so I can give you advice around how I went through. It's easy to get the herbs online. There's a beautiful Australian organic site that you can order it through. So Ayur Organics, AYUR Organics, and you can order the herbs that you need through there. Everything else is pretty straightforward. The Indian General Store in Caboolture, or if you're somewhere else, you know, any city will have an Indian General Store just for the herbs and spices for cooking. But everything else probably is easiest to get online unless you know you have an Ayurvedic practitioner near you where you can get those herbs. But Ayur Organics, would definitely recommend them because they do a lot of these herbal supplements in a capsule form so that you don't have to take them in a powder. It can be a little harder to digest a powder in a drink, or it's a bit like, ugh. If anyone's taken naturopathic medicine or anything like that before, there can be a real hit to it and it can start to become a real resistance to doing it and taking it. But Ayur Organics try and get the herbs in the capsule form, and then it's still, or the compressed form, so it's more like a tablet, and it's a lot easier to deal with, let me tell you. So any more questions while we're on here? We've still got a few people hanging on. Is there any questions that you want me to answer now about this that you're not sure about? If you've been on through the whole thing, if you've just jumped on, it's probably too big a discussion to go back to the beginning, but when we stop, go back to the beginning and watch it. This is about, let's not wait for disease to strike us before we go. Got to clean up my act and start alkalizing and reducing, you know, all the toxicity in my body. Let's do it now, because chances are you are going to get something, whether it's rheumatoid arthritis, whether it's MS, whether it's cancer, whether it's heart disease. How many people do you know that get into their 80s and 90s and have nothing going on? I mean, we don't want to scare you, but this is the reality of it. Not many, right? And as I said, it's my firm belief that we can go through this lifetime being vibrant and healthy right to the moment that we choose to exit our body. And that's my goal. And, you know, I think it's sort of been something that's going stronger and stronger in me, that I am going, you know what? I am committed. I'm committed to being as spiritually realized as I can possibly be in this lifetime, and as being as healthy and vibrant as I can possibly be in this lifetime. And I am over compromising to allow anyone else to feel more comfortable around me. I am over compromising my own beliefs to try and fit in with how other people want to do things, you know? Have you lacked energy at any stage? Yes, I would say yes, because you're using so much energy in this cleanse. If you just joined us, we're talking about a really amazing long-term kind of cleanse. Cleanse seems to kind of not do it justice. It's like a cleanse and repair and deeply detoxifying your body in a very, very safe way. I'm going to put the details at the top. Tam's just asking, we've just gone through the whole thing. If you've joined us now, Lillian, so I suggest that you go back to the beginning. I'm just asking if anyone's got any questions. So Tam's just asking if I lacked energy at any stage. And I would say yes, because as they say, you are using so much energy in this repair mode. And yes, you're getting the supplements, you know, the herbals and the bone broth and the juice, and you're eating to fuel that, but your body is still working quite hard. So I wouldn't say I was exhausted, but I think if you just go to bed before 10, you know, like it's no real biggie. Probably in the first 2 weeks, in the first few days of that first week, I had one rotten day. I think if anyone's ever done a cleanse, it's like, oh my God, you're going to feel a bit rough at times. And I had a day, I tend to respond really quickly to cleanses. I think just because of the amount of, work that I normally do, it's hard and fast with me no matter what I do. So I'd have one day when I'm like, headache from hell, feel crap, really, really knackered. And I just had to wipe that day off. Next day, I was completely fine. Yeah. So you just have to kind of watch, depending on what you're doing, how much alcohol you normally have, how much sweet stuff you normally have, how many carbs you normally have. Everyone's going to be different as how they respond. And so that's why there's a test in here that you can do so that you can assess yourself whether you really want to go fast track, whether you need to go a little bit slower, whether you want to go even slower than that. And because there are a few components to each stage of it, you can also choose to add those components separately. So because I was pretty much on fast track, I didn't actually have any real issues. It wasn't really the reason that I was sort of doing it. I went fast track and I added everything all in one go at each stage. But, I know that if you did have any issues, or if you know that you're someone whose diet's not, the best, or you do quite a lot of alcohol or whatever, then I would suggest adding each section of each stage perhaps a couple of days apart. So it gives your body a little bit of time to really kind of get on board with it. So I know we've got some more people jumping on now. So I invite you, we're just about to wind up. So go back to the beginning, check out what we're doing. We're talking about don't wait for disease and illness to strike you, because chances are it is going to over your lifetime. Do it now. Start cleaning up now, but don't do it in one of those short, quick, crazy cleanses. Do it well, do it deep. And this is what I'm recommending. And it's a minimum of kind of an 8-week program or more. And it's really complementary to what you are already doing and eating. It's not taking stuff away. It's adding stuff in, and how it really changes things on a fundamental level and on a chemical level, on a neurological level in your brain. So you don't have to keep fighting those cravings or fighting the habits. You can do it in a much, much more easeful way. And we all want more of that, right? Clever bodies. So I'll put the details in the top when I finish this up. And any questions, if you're watching this back, I'll be checking this. So if you've got any questions, pop it down and I'll make some comments. And PM me if you want to stay on our email list, so that every week when we do these lives, you don't miss them. When we upload them to YouTube, we send them through on our email database so that you can watch them then at your own time. All right, lovely Katerina, Sally, and everyone else, and Tam, and Stacey, if you're still here, Liliana, Donna, and anyone else who's jumped off or has been on, Leander. Great to see you, lovelies, and see you next time. Bye.